So the next series of shots, you take us out into the quote-unquote real world with our Lolitas, and I think this is a really neat shot, simply because we've got all these sort of very dull colors, very earthy tones and blues and denims and browns and so forth, and the pink just really, really pops out of this photograph. And I even kind of find it interesting how you sort of just, or the person to the right is just kind of looking off over the railing, and just kind of in her own world. And contrasting with that is the tourist on the other side of the frame that's very much kind of purposefully posing for the camera. And there's kind of like a fun little interplay there, in that the one on the right is posing but not really posing, and the one on the left is posing and just doing so in a really obvious manner, yet she's really not the center of the attention in the photograph. It is the Lolita to the right. I think this is just a fun gesture shot. Captured the expressions really well, and I love the pinkies kind of hanging out over the edge there. And look at the difference in this image with the focus versus the earlier image you had submitted in the first part of this critique that we talked about. This is really tack sharp on the subjects, and the background is out of focus. So our attention is squarely where it needs to be in this image. So then in this image we have again more sort of out in the world type of shots. I think the previous image, or the previous two images ago at Niagara Falls, I think really worked well for me. This shot kind of has a very snapshot feel to it, and in the right context I think it could work, but especially your first 3-4 images in the body of work really had a very elegant, advanced photographic look to them, and this kind of is not really cohesive in that sense. This very much has a snapshot quality to it, and if you had only done if you had done your entire portfolio like this, then we could kind of see how it works for it. But it's kind of feels a little bit of too much of a forced cheesy pose here, and that's one of the things we kind of want to avoid. On the other hand, super fun shot. Love this. Love the contrast up against sort of that corporate McDonald's look and feel. I think this picture is just an absolute wonderful home run. Really, really well done. And again, another beautiful shot. Again, your focus is right where it needs to be. Our two subjects really pop off of the frame. It's composed very well. And I even like how you've gotten really low on the ground, and all these little dandelions kind of help decorate the frame, and again contribute to sort of that very playful attitude that you have going on in these images. And then this image is just such a chaotic burst of colors, yet the way you've arranged the frame, sort of having all of the momentum pushing in from the outside of the frame towards the center, I think it really works. And what is a really busy frame, I think, turns into a frame that's very successful, and one that kind of has me working through many times over. Definitely draws me in very much. And then finally, really, really nice ending to it, beautifully composed. I think that having them look off of the frame in one direction and have the diagonal line going off the frame in the other direction, has our eye working through here in a very interesting, pleasing manner. And just the contrast in the clothing between the three different women in here, I think really puts a nice exclamation point on the project.